And then have fun with it. Don't take yourself too seriously. Be able to laugh, have a sense of humor.
But if I'm feeling lonely, I know I can go to guys that I've built relationship with in the good times, that when I do feel lonely, I can say, hey, I'm going through it. What did you do here? How do I get out of this funk? Well, hey there, and welcome back to They Call Me Pastor. My name's Kyle. This is Don, and we are excited to be with you. This has been a fun journey so far.
It has. It's been a lot of fun.
It has. We're enjoying this, and I hope you're enjoying this. So we're not doing this for our pleasure. We're doing this so that you get value and you're learning some things about ministry and what it's like to be a pastor. And so would you do us a favor real quick? Would you stop and share this episode? Just hit pause and hit the little arrow, send it to someone that you think would find this valuable. But our hope is really to get this into the hands of as many pastors as we possibly can, because I think they'll get something from these conversations.
Absolutely. So today we're going to be talking about pastoral encouragement and soul care, a reflection of just what it's like to be a pastor and how to take care of ourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically. I know in Bible college they told us regularly, don't get close to the people. If you get close to the people, they're going to hurt you. But then as I began to grow in ministry and in my relationship with God, I realized Jesus got close to people.
He really did.
And if I'm going to be an example, then I need to be willing to get close to people. So the first thing I want to address this morning, if we can, is loneliness in leadership. Kyle, do you believe that pastoral leadership has to be lonely?
I don't think it has to be. I think it can be. There are seasons to everything, right? Mm-hmm. That's what Ecclesiastes says. There's a season for everything. I think there are seasons of loneliness, but I think you can combat that with good rhythms and healthy relationships.
For me, one of the ways that I did that is I regularly seek out people to be a mentor in my life. And they're not necessarily always older than me. Someone that is on the same path and going through, has similar experiences, but hey, can we spend some time together? What books are you reading? Yep. And just, how much coffee are you drinking? Can we do some of that together? Sure. And even allowing that to happen in the church. That I'm reaching out, whether it's a deacon or a young man in the church, and saying, hey, can we connect? And then allowing myself to be me, where they see my sense of humor without damaging my role in their life as their pastor. Because again, I'm their pastor, I'm their friend. And if they're my staff, I'm their boss as well. And so being able to navigate that. Yeah.
I know in our church we have a small board because we're still growing as a church. But one of my board members has been with us since before we started the church.
Okay.
I preached somewhere. He came up to me after the sermon and said, "God told me wherever you go, I'm supposed to follow." And he has been an incredible encouragement to me. And he's younger than me by almost a decade. And so he keeps me young. and there are times where I got to go, hey, we got to pull back here and do this. But then he's also very in tune with what the Holy Spirit's doing. And then on the other side, I've got another guy on the board who's about a decade older than me. And regularly, he will come to me and say, hey, I want to encourage you. I want to share this with you. And he'll tell me what God's telling him in his private time with the Lord. And there's always this moment between us where I feel like, man, I've been with a brother in Christ. And so I know that if I'm discouraged, my first line of defense is I go to my wife, right, after I talk to God. But I'm going to my wife and I'm going to tell her. And then I have the luxury of having family on my staff, so I can trust my staff. I can go to them and say, hey, I'm dealing with this. And then I should be able to go to my board, who care and pour into me. But then we also have a structure of overseers outside of our church.
Okay.
Men who are specifically over me. They don't decide things in our church, but they are here to make sure that I am emotionally, physically, relationally, spiritually healthy. And so I sit with them on a almost monthly basis, each one of them.
Okay.
And then I have other mentors like you who I sit with and talk to regularly, and just, man, I'm going to bounce ideas off of. But if I'm feeling lonely, I know I can go to guys that I've built relationship with in the good times, that when I do feel lonely, I can say, hey, I'm going through it. What did you do here? How do I get out of this funk?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Again, if we're not careful, we listen to the thoughts in our own head, and we will begin to pull away when there are people in our life that are ready to speak life, to speak hope and encouragement, because again, loneliness can lead to some very dark areas in our thought lives, and which can lead us into darker places. So my encouragement is always have men and women around you that love you, that believe in you, that are willing to tell you the truth. Someone who loves you isn't always just telling you what you want to hear. And that's why I'm thankful for the men in my life that do that. And on my board, I've told our board from the beginning, I believe in mutual submission, and that, yes, I'm the pastor, I'm leading, but if there's something going on that you see, a caution or a concern, then please let's address that to keep me from going through some of the things that they've experienced in years past.
Yeah.
Another thing that when I begin to feel that loneliness come on, and if I'm not careful, I'll turn inward and begin to, nobody knows the troubles I've seen kind of thing.
Yeah.
But reminding myself that Jesus said, lo, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age. So I'm never alone. And then cultivating those relationships that are there to help guard me, protect me, and guide me to move forward. And so just staying safe and having, you don't tell your business to everybody,
Right.
but having a handful of people that you're safe.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about becoming somebody else's sermon illustration next week.
Well, and I think too, it is important in the loneliness and other seasons as well, because I don't want to make it sound like ministry is always dreary. It's not. Honestly, when it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah.
But when it's good, it's like the greatest job in the world. But I also think, we've discussed this before, but there are times where I have to go to mom and dad as son, and there are times where I have to go to them as pastor. And it's just really good to make sure that they know which hat is being worn at that time. And I think of a couple people in our church who I'm actually really close friends with, where I have to go to them and say, hey, I need to have a pastoral conversation with you. Not best friend, not not confidant. I need to have a pastoral conversation and call you on some stuff. Or, hey, I'm coming to you as your pastor, but I need your wisdom. We have some incredible business owners in the church. And, hey, we've got this business decision that we need to make with the church, and our board does a great job, but would just love your eyes on this. What do you think about this? And when you invite people into those moments, you're actually inviting them into a deeper relationship. But when you look at Jesus and how he led with his disciples, if you look at the Last Supper, John's legit reclining on him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any friend here that's close enough to recline on me.
Right.
But it does show that Jesus was able to manage friendships and still lead.
Right.
But I do think there's an intentionality in the same way that you parent and you can joke around with your kids, but then they push it too far and you've got to switch and be like, man, there's the line. You have to be able to do that as a pastor as well and say, hey, here's the line of I need to have a friendship conversation or I need to have a pastoral conversation.
Yeah.
And not that they have to be exclusive, but I think it's important that you delineate.
Well, and part of that is in developing those relationships to avoid, walking in what the perceived loneliness is, letting that person know their value to you. And that's one of the things that we say to our staff regularly. We say to our volunteers, we value you more than we value what you can do for us.
Yep.
So their value isn't in their performance, but in their personhood, who they are.
Yeah.
And watching their relationship with God. And that's the thing. I think for me as a pastor, what I so enjoy is watching when the lights go on for people,
Yeah.
and watching them grow and being a part of their journey. And if I find myself buying into that mindset, well, you can't get close to people and you're always going to be alone, then I won't be able to participate in their growth and in their maturity. And I know when he sees this, he's going to kill me. Pastor James, our worship pastor,
Yeah.
when I first came to the church, I started really leaning into him and saying, "Hey, really like for you to consider coming on." And we had a lot of great conversations, but he was just like, what I've seen in pastoral ministry, no thanks. Well, this last Sunday, he preached his first message.
Come on.
And you would have thought that he had been doing this for a long time.
Wow.
And the thing that he did was we leaned in to the personal side. I became his friend. Yes, I'm his pastor, but I'm his friend also. And our friendship is such that as he was developing his messages, he would come to my office. He'd bring a message. "Can I preach this to you?" And he would stand in front of my table, and he would preach that message, and I would help him and critique him. And then this last Sunday, watching him stand, he went through our preschool. He went through our school from kindergarten through 6th grade.
Wow.
And then he stood in the pulpit this Sunday as a 31-year-old man and preached the gospel and did an amazing job. And so if I wanted to take that mindset of being alone, then I'm missing out on the opportunity to invest
Yeah.
in that young man.
Yeah. Well, and then also to enjoy it when it's
Yeah.
happening. You enjoy it more when you've got a friendship that goes beyond pastor.
Absolutely.
Now you're proud of your friend James, and
Absolutely. Celebrating him.
yeah, but you're not just excited for him as his boss and his pastor. You're also his friend.
Absolutely.
And that's really cool.
And that's one of the things too, when you allow yourself to get near the people that you're leading, you begin to catch a vision for their life,
Right.
not for their productivity,
Yeah.
but for their life. And that's one of the things that I'm really enjoying about pastoring is
That's
being
cool.
near the people. I think another area where as ministers, if we're not careful, we say, "How you doing, man? I'm tired." I know there was a season when Wes was younger that every time what's going on, man? I'm just tired. We were always tired. And one day he was like 8 or 9 years old. "How you doing, Wes?" "I'm tired, Dad." And I realized that he's not tired. That's coming from, he's picking up our language.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn to take on rest as a priority.
Yeah.
That, okay, I can't fix all the church's problems or all the city's problems every day. So it's like taking on the mindset, it's like eating an elephant.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it? One bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I set boundaries with my schedule, take time to rest. I've even told our team, I said, "I don't want to see you stacking vacation days. If you've got vacation, I want you to use them because rest is important.
Yeah.
If you burn yourself out, you're no good to your family. You're no good to your job, your position in the church. So I'd rather you make sure you take time to rest."
Yeah.
Jesus withdrew and rested. What did he say in Matthew 11? "Come to me, all you who labor
Yeah.
and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So God gives his children rest.
Yeah.
And I think that's something as pastors, as leaders, that we really need to lean into, is taking times for Sabbaths,
Sure.
taking even short sabbaticals. We've got it written into our bylaws now that every 7 years, the lead pastor gets, I believe it's 2-month sabbatical to just be able to step away, to rest, renew his heart and his mind, come back and lead the church to the next place.
That's cool. I know here we actually don't, I won't say we don't track, but we don't have a designated amount of vacation days.
Okay.
The way I see it, if you jump from church to church, or I've been on multiple staffs. Every time you join a staff, your clock starts over. So you start back at the lowest rung of available vacation days. And I was like, man, we're all on the same team. like we're all even a part of the same fellowship. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, why do we have to reset the clock? Well, mom and dad have been in ministry for 45 years, I think, this
Right.
year. They should not be penalized because they joined a young staff. Oh, now you're back to 2 weeks. So what we did is at the very beginning, we just said, hey, we're not going to have a designated amount of days. You have a salary, and I'm sorry it's not enough. But take your vacation, do what you need to do, get the job done, and then go rest, and that's fine. And I think too, my view of Sabbath was very other than what I think was intended by Christ. And the Jews get really like caught up on this still. Like their Sabbath is like, it's a religious thing, not a restful thing.
Right.
You know, I got the chance to sit next to a Jew on a plane a couple of years ago, and she was telling me like the intensity of Sabbath for her family. And I love that they're intentional, but it got to the point where it was like, man, are you just doing this because it's a law? Or are you doing this because it's actually enjoyable? Yeah. So sometimes for me, Sabbath is at the gun range.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
I mean? Sometimes Sabbath is with the boys at the park.
Yeah.
It's not me sitting on the couch passing time.
Yeah. My Friday, every Friday is my Sabbath.
Okay.
And it is, you know, I sleep in. I don't set an alarm. So instead of being up at 4, I'm up at 6.
Whoa.
You know, but I still do my natural rhythm of devotion and coffee. And then I may go to a driving range and hit a bucket of balls, or I may go to the gun range. But I take that time. And then around noon, you know, Sherry's had opportunity to get around and do whatever. She and I may go have brunch.
Yeah.
But the rest of the day, I call it Sherry's day. And it's just she and I being together. Sometimes we may be just working around the house, but it's time for us to unplug. I don't answer the phone. I let everything go to voicemail. I screen it. And if it's urgent, I will call it back immediately. I'll look at my text the same way. If it's relating to the church. Yeah. And then I will, if it's urgent, I will return the call. If it's not, I will call them the next day. I'll say, hey, sorry, you know, Friday I make sure to unplug, to let and any reading I do on Fridays, outside of my devotional and scripture reading, if I have time to sit down and read, it's going to be something that's non-church related. It still may be theological studies for me personally, but it's something for me to be able to rest my heart and my mind, and to be able to laugh with my wife. Yeah. You know, so be able to find those seasons of rest. And I found when I'm doing that it helps me deal with any discouragement in a healthy way. Because in the reality is life can bring discouragements, disappointments. You know, everything that we've been through in the last 18 months as a family. Church has done very well, but man, my personal family has just come under attack, you know. And at times it can be overwhelming and discouraging. But leaning into, okay, the Bible says David encouraged himself in the Lord. How did he do that? It's being able to go back where you start. Yep. Go back to, you know, whatever it is that's bringing the discouragement, the frustration, the aggravation, or the fear. You got to remember that it hasn't been around as long as God has. Yeah. And God's grace is sufficient. His strength is perfect. And sometimes when we feel that overwhelming wave of discouragement or those outside voices, like the text messages that you were talking about earlier, is just taking a step back and realizing, but that's not God. God is my strength. God is my source. God is my portion. Yeah. So when you look at discouragement and how it can negatively impact us, what are the two main things that bring discouragement in a pastor when looking at a church? Money. Yeah. And people, the numbers. So how do we deal with that when the numbers aren't growing, when we're not meeting a certain expectation either that we set for ourselves or someone else set for us? Again, remembering Christ loves his church more than we do.
Yeah.
It's his church. And as we have the hunger and the desire to pursue him, and we're focusing on the health of the congregation, not the size,
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a real freedom in that helps us overcome that discouragement, that keeps us focused. Okay, this is about his mission,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
purpose, his plan, rather than focusing on whatever. The one question that we get anytime we're at something, how you doing? How's the church? How many you running now?
Yeah.
I think that's the wrong question. It's not about how many I'm running. It's how many people's lives are being changed.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to look at health over numbers, and sometimes the numbers won't grow, and you won't see the reflection in the numbers until the health is there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we talked about healthy things growing, but I would challenge every pastor, don't gauge by Sunday morning attendance, gauge by engagement in ministry. Mm-hmm. Who's in your small groups? Who's serving? Who's taking significant steps in their faith, right? Who's being baptized? Who's going through discipleship? Who is, if you're not looking at the finances, I don't want to make the finances the biggest deal, but it's one area where we were able to judge people's hearts or see where they're at mm-hmm. in their walk with the Lord. So like, who's tithing? Who's stepped up in their giving? Who's taken the step from 2% to 5% or from 5% to 10%? Who's going above and beyond? Who's lingering longer?
Right.
Right. Relationships in the church will show themselves after you say amen. They'll be out in the lobby, mm-hmm. hanging out and talking. And so I like to kind of notice who's talking this week that wasn't 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And one of the areas for us, even as we've been going through this revitalization process, is the people who are wanting to study and say, hey, can I come to the School of Ministry? Mm. And I said, well, are you wanting to take the class, or are you just wanting to see what it's about?
Yeah.
I just want to see what. And so we'll have anywhere from 7 to 10 students taking the class. Then I may have another 3 to 5 in the church just saying, hey, can I audit it? Can I just come and sit through? And depending on the subject matter, even I think our last class was on AG history and polity, and I had 17 students and 4 auditing, And so by watching people engage and their desire to engage more is one of the things. And so for me, being encouraged is when I see a young man or young woman or young family go, man, we really want more of God. We really want to pursue God in this. Can you help us?
Yeah.
And so that's a major source of encouragement for me, and looking at, and don't make any major decisions on Monday.
Yeah.
That's why I don't take Mondays off, because Sherry would not get the best version of me on a Monday. I'm emotionally tired, physically tired, and my mind is replaying everything. That's one other reason I don't have staff on Monday. I have it on Tuesday.
Sure.
So we don't come in and and like, man, this was horrible and that was horrible. By the time we get to Tuesday, everybody's had a chance to reflect and to walk through. So any sense of discouragement they have been there from Monday is like, man, that was just me. And that's off. And then people are able to objectively, because we ask every staff meeting these 3 questions about the Sunday service. We take a debrief time and we say, what did we do well? What do we need to change? And what do we need to stop doing? And so, and they have permission to speak to the message. They have permission to speak to everything that went on in the service. And so we're able to deal with it. But if we dealt with that on Monday, I'd hate to hear that conversation, and it keeps us encouraged as well as making transitions that we need to make.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I know we've got to wrap this up, but let's assume that not everybody is struggling, because I really don't want to make it sound like ministry is this dreary drag that we have to go through. It's not. It's heavy, and there is a weight to the mantle that we carry, for sure. But also, it's a great job. I love what I get to do. And I have spent more time probably in the discouraged side overall than I have in the encourage. But right now, I mean, we're in a great place as a church. We're growing. Things are healthy.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And so I don't want to assume that every pastor is discouraged.
Yeah.
But what is a way that they can be encouraged even if they're not discouraged?
Well, again, positive reflection. That's one of the things in theology, I think, that we need to do. We need to reflect on the goodness of God,
Yeah.
the faithfulness of God, all that He's done, all that He is doing, and then the focus on the faith of what He's about to do, and then have fun with it. Be able to laugh. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Be able to laugh, have a sense of humor, be able to laugh at yourself, be able to laugh at your own mistakes.
Yeah.
Life is hard. John Wayne said it this way: it's even harder when you're stupid. Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, one of the things that we say to our team regularly is like, we really don't have failures. We have experiments.
Right.
And what do you do if you're doing an experiment and you don't get the result that your hypothesis, you change the ingredients. And so that's what we look at.
Yeah.
And so ministry, yes, there's a way. I mean, at Vista, we have 61 employees.
Wow.
I feel the weight of that. But I'm going to have fun. And I'm going to walk the halls,
Yeah.
high five kids, knuckle bumps, talk to teachers, and encourage, laugh with them, joke with them, but also cry with them, if they're going through a difficult time. And so ministry is serious, but it's also fun.
Yep.
And some of the greatest times, again, I go back to the photobomb picture. I laugh so hard every time I see that picture because it was us having fun.
Yeah.
And so discouragement comes in cycles.
Sure.
Like everything else. And it's just knowing how to deal with it and realizing that even when it comes, it's not unto death.
Right.
Unless you let it.
Right. I was reading in Corinthians this morning about Paul, and he's writing back to the church, and he's like, man, Timothy and I were so discouraged to the point of death, and I reflected on the grace of God, and it brought him back. And I think there is something good about having a rhythm in your life where you collect the good moments in the good moments.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I do is I will actually screenshot texts. If someone sends me a text, hey, you're doing good, really appreciated that word, or hey, you did this with my family and we so appreciate it. I got a DM on Instagram this last week where an old neighbor friend of mine said, hey man, I got saved 3 months ago. I think for real this time. And he said, it's because I picked up the Bible that you gave me, and I gave him that Bible 4 years ago.
Wow.
And so I screenshot those things and I will keep them. And then in the hard times, I'll go back and read and be like, oh, you know what? It's probably not as bad as I think it is.
Yeah.
And so just a good word of encouragement. It's probably not as bad as you think it is.
Right.
But it might not also be as good as you think it is. So go back and audit and make sure you're doing things good.
Honest. Yeah.
But I think you're doing better than you think you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're too hard on ourselves. I think an encouragement that Christ would bring to the average pastor is not, don't think of yourself more highly than you ought. I think he might actually say, don't discount yourself as much as you do either. Right.
And discouragement, it can really be, I think of Psalm 73 where the psalmist says, my feet, I almost slipped and fell. And then he goes on this whole thing about the wicked and them being prosperous and them experiencing all these things. And then he says, I was that way until I went to the house of the Lord.
Yep.
Just when you find yourself, even sometimes it's not even that we're discouraged. It's sometimes we just, in ministry, we can be so busy that we can become numb.
Yeah.
And just reminding ourselves to go back to the presence of God.
Yeah.
And encouraging ourselves and getting, there's always someone in your life that has an encouraging word, that has a laugh with you.
Yep.
And my brother-in-law came to visit, and his wife, and we were down at Seaport Village, and my wife took a picture. I'll send you the picture, and he was telling me a story, and the story was so funny that it brought a belly laugh, and I threw my head back. And my wife, she didn't know what he was telling me. She just caught pictures of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved that photo. I said, this is my favorite photo because my brother-in-law now was my first youth pastor I ever hired.
Oh, wow.
In 1996. He was single, and I've done so much life with him, and now he's been in the family for 20 plus years, almost 30 years, and to be able to laugh. We've been through a lot of things together. And I will always cherish that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't laughed that way in a long time.
Well, and then I would also encourage you, if you have, we have a saying around here, like they do at the airport, if you see something, say something. Mm-hmm. If you see something good in someone, tell them.
Right.
And so if you see something good in another pastor, shoot them a text. We're all creeping on each other's live streams anyway. Like, shoot him a text, tell him he's doing good. Share an encouraging word, because those words mean something to us.
Absolutely.
And we're actually called to be encouragers. Not all of us have the name Barnabas, but we are to be an encourager. Absolutely. So this is our encouragement to you, to be an encouragement to those around you, and be encouraged yourself, because God's got your back and you're doing better than you think you are.
Absolutely. And hey, thanks for joining us again for They Call Me Pastor. Share this with your friends. Share it with other pastors, ministry students. We just want to be a resource to help make life in ministry a lot more enjoyable and give you some resources. God bless you. Thanks for joining us.